Hi, this is Terry with Total Life Pursuit. Welcome to pillar number 4. Pillar number 4, you're going to think, what? Yeah, it is vitally important. It's as important as anything else. And pillar number 4 is thinking. The way you think affects your entire physical health. So how does that happen? I mean, really, what happens here, Terry? Glad you asked. You ready? You have cells throughout your body, several billion of them, and they communicate with one another. You have an intercellular communication network. Your brain controls the network. Are you with me? Your brain sends out messages that are impulses that turn into proteins and electric and stuff, and it's completely amazing. And all the cells, they communicate with one another. That's how I move my hand. The communication of my brain, with my nervous system, with my muscular system. It's amazing. So thinking has a lot to do with your physical health. There are about 40 trillion, I guess. There's more than a few trillion. There's 40 trillion. And everyone has a language that they speak. And it's chemical language. And that's how it can happen so fast. You ever, get scared and you feel the rush throughout your whole body? Well, think about that for a second. We think, oh, well, it's adrenaline. Actually, it's not adrenaline. Adrenaline is secreting from your adrenals. Okay, great. Can your bloodstream pump blood down to your toes within a millisecond? No, but your cells can communicate that fast. We have a fantastic cellular communication network. So, just as a person needs ears and a mouth to have conversation, cells use receptors, proteins, either on the outside of the cell wall or inside the cell to hear the different signals from different cells. Let me give you another illustration. When you have a fearful response like, 1,400 different chemicals are released. 1,400. That's part of what you feel in your little tinglies, right? Or that gut feeling sometimes. Yeah. When oh man, it got me. You got all, that's it. Every cell has receptors and can detect a lot of different signals. So they're constantly bombarded with signals biologically. I would just like to propose this to you. The way you think communicates to your body, and your body will react how you think. Now, that doesn't mean, I remember as a kid, it was, Kung Fu was this show with Kwai Chang Caine. He was David Carradine, and he was in this hot box. They were persecuting him. He was a Chinese guy, and so they were persecuting him, and he was in the box, and he was all talking about how, it's not hot if you don't think it's hot. Well, I'm not saying we go there. Okay, you can admit it's hot, but you don't have to be overcome by the heat. Are you with me? So you can feel pain. You can not want to go work out. You can taste. You can say, okay, an In-N-Out burger tastes better than broccoli. You can say that, but you don't have to let that dictate. Let me give you another illustration of my own life. I communicated with my taste buds, which are new every 72 hours. Every 72 hours on a cellular level, your taste buds are brand new. So I knew that. I read about avocados, something I didn't like. I've never liked. I like guacamole. I don't like avocados. That's just how it is. I know California, I'm weird, whatever. But I found out how great they are for you. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to start liking avocados. Okay? Taste buds, and I was talking. Taste buds, you are going to like avocados. This is just reality because avocados are so good for you. We live in California. They're plentiful here. It's a great high-fat food with plenty of phytochemicals and good minerals and vitamins. So I said, honey, go buy me some avocados. I'm going to start liking them. And I just made a decision. That doesn't mean when I took the taste, I was like, tastes like ice cream. I'm not saying that. But it didn't taste that bad. A little salt and pepper, was helpful, I gotta admit. But now, I don't need the salt and pepper. I like avocados. Not my favorite food, but I like it, and I eat it. Why? Because it's good for me, and I made a choice with my brain. And all of a sudden, everything else came into a line with what I was thinking. Some people will say, yeah, but I just can't get over, I don't like Brussels sprouts. I got a friend, Brussels sprouts. Honestly, when you can't get over it, I know this might sound weird, I think you got an emotional tie that needs to be broken in many cases. Oh, come on, Terry, you're going too crazy with this stuff. You know, whatever. You can think whatever you want. It's just my opinion. Let's go on with cellular communication. Paracrine signaling allows cells to locally coordinate activities with their neighbors. One unique example of paracrine signaling is synaptic signaling, in which nerve cells transmit signals. You ever heard of that? The synapse, a little gap in the nerve, and the neurotransmitter transmits the signal over it. Yeah, it's nerve cells talking to nerve cells via chemicals. Okay, when cells need to transmit signals over long distances, they often use the circulatory system as a distribution network for the messages they send. In long-distance endocrine signaling, signals are produced by specialized cells and released into the bloodstream, which carries them to the target cells in distant parts of the body. Signals that are produced in one part of the body and travel through the circulation to reach faraway targets are known as hormones. How cool is that? I mean, really, we have a lot to say about how our bodies react. Why? Because the brain controls the body. You send messengers out. Thinking activates the nervous system. Thinking, as we can see, activates the endocrine system or the hormone system. The endocrine system has everything to do with what? Weight loss. I'm telling you, especially women, looking in the mirror, telling yourself you're fat or not liking yourself for one reason or another is absolutely torpedoing your chances to lose weight. I'm not saying you won't lose weight if you don't think right. You know, everything else can fall into line. What I am saying is that you really undermine your ability to lose weight if you think how fat and ugly you are, how you'll never lose this weight, how you didn't when you went on this diet, or you gained it all back, and the negative things. We're not made to be negative. When we are negative and think negative, toxic chemicals are released in our body. And toxic chemicals make things work horribly. So if you want things to work right, you have to think positive. I'm not saying that we should all go around with, la, 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 I'm positive. I am saying that we can choose to think positively about many things in life. There's enough hardships that are difficult to go through. Some we create ourselves. I know people who just create drama so they can be in a panic mode. They created, it wasn't even there. They just created it out of thin air. So don't be that person, because it affects everything about your physical health. As a matter of fact, they say that 75 or 85, depending on the statistic and the research, to 90 or 95% of physical ailments are due to the way you think. The way you think. How you interpret the external stimuli that comes in through your ears or through your eyes or through touch or anything else is absolutely determined by the way you think. In fact, I do this funny little thing is, when someone comes in church, right? And or let's say you're walking in church and someone does this to you. You think, they don't like me. What's wrong with them? How come? I've never done anything to you. You go through this whole scenario. You know what? They were looking at the clock right behind you, and they were like, wow, I can't believe Reverend so-and-so is 2 minutes late. He hasn't come out yet. That's what they were looking at. But the way you interpreted it, are you with me? So it is that way in life. Things happen. How do we interpret what happens? Some people, pregnant pause, some people want everything to work well in their life, and when it doesn't, they just want to get rid of that. And I would just like to say that we all go through difficulties and trials and tribulations. You know, in this country, we have very few compared to third world nations that I have personally visited or that I've read about. They don't know how they're going to eat the next day. We are worried about our phone and the screen cracked. You get what I'm saying? The reality is sometimes we perceive things to be much more stressful and important than they really are. And we want all of life to work perfect for us, or we're just going to be in a mess. I'm not saying expect hard times, but hard times come. Heck, exercise is hard times. Heck, having a baby's hard. Going through school's hard. You know, putting away 10% of your money's hard. There's a lot of hard things in life that are really, really beneficial. So not everything that is hard is bad. So the mind controls the brain. This is the beautiful thing. Because the brain is mechanistic. Couldn't say it. Mechanistic. So some people believe, a lot of biologists believe that we are a mechanism and that we can't help ourselves, that our brain determines everything and we can't change our brain. The problem is that's not true. Research has shown, and the Bible has shown, and experience has shown it's absolutely not true. The way you think can change your brain. The brain can be changed. You've heard of neuroplasticity. It's absolutely true. So what happens? You have a mind that's immaterial. You have the brain that's material. You can hold the brain in the hand. You can't hold your mind in your hand. The way you think, your mind determines how your brain will be. And your thoughts are actual structures in your brain. This is beautiful because you can get rid of the structures by thinking something counter to it, like I am fat, I am fat, I am fat. A lot of people have that. I'm fat. I'm just so fat. I am so fat. Stop it. Maybe you should start looking at yourself and say, I'm a little overweight on the way to skinny, on the way to not overweight, however you want to put it. That is when your brain changes. And when your brain changes, your body changes. So you've got hormones and you've got stress. And the problem with hormones is they regulate your weight loss. They regulate how hungry you are. They regulate when you feel full. They regulate your carbohydrate or glucose, glycogen uptake. They regulate so much in your body, including your little thyroid. And everyone's like, oh, I got thyroid issues, so I got weight issues. Yeah, that's regulated by the endocrine system. There are things that regulate the thyroid, right? So, hormones and stress. When you encounter a perceived threat during your morning walk, your hypothalamus, a tiny region in the base of your brain, sets off an alarm system in your body. Through a combination of nerve and hormone signals, this system prompts your adrenal glands located on the top of your kidneys to release a surge of hormones, including adrenaline and cortisol. Adrenaline increases your heart rate, elevates your blood sugar, boosts energy supplies. Cortisol, the primary stress hormone, increases sugars in the bloodstream. It enhances your brain's use of glucose. It increases availability of substances that repair tissues. Cortisol is a fantastic thing. It curbs functions like the non-essential functions when you're being chased by a rabid dog, like the digestive system, your immune system, your reproductive system, and the growth process. Here's the problem. When you're always stressed out, those things are being suppressed. Your immune system is suppressed. Your ability to shed weight is suppressed. You're not going to shed weight because your body's like, no, we need this. We need this here because we're still in emergency mode. We've got to use that fat for energy just in case we run out of glycogen in the body. So stress is a huge problem. Stress is produced by the way you think. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be stressed out if a Doberman Pinscher, starts barking at you and growling and, saliva coming down his mouth and he's not chained up. I would say that is a stressful response. You need to run, climb a tree, it's a dog, climb a car, do something, get out of there. But here's the deal. You can't stay in that heightened sense of stress all day long without ravaging your body, without upsetting everything, including digestion. So what happens when you eat and you're all stressed out? You don't digest well. You don't get the nutrients you need. When you don't get the nutrients you need, guess what? You're hungry. Because your body doesn't crave food, it creates it is dying for, what's the word I was just trying to use? I just used it right there. It actually craves nutrients. So your body craves nutrients, and craving nutrients means you'll eat more. And if you're not getting the nutrients, means you'll eat more. Are you with me? You see where this is going. Stress is a big time issue. When stressors are present, you constantly feel under attack. It's long-term activation of the stress. So that pituitary adrenal thing goes like this, and it's like a short circuit. It's supposed to shut off. It doesn't shut off, so the adrenals stop. It just short circuits. So that's a problem. Okay, all sorts of health problems, anxiety, depression, obviously. Digestive issues, obviously. Headaches, heart disease. Why are we always going back into heart disease? Because it's an issue. Sleep problems, weight gain, memory and concentration impairment, sickness, immune system function. See, how about sickness in the way you think? How about people who think, oh, I'm going to get sick? You know, when someone's around you with the flu, you're like, oh no, I hope I don't get sick. I hope I don't get sick. Those people always get sick. You ever notice that? Everyone's like, oh no, I got to wash my hands. Don't touch me. Don't breathe on me. They always get sick. How about this? Build your immune system up, make it fantastic, and then you don't have to fear getting sick. I'm not saying you never get sick, but when you fear it, all of a sudden it suppresses the immune system, and you're at a higher risk for getting sick. So the way you think can actually make you sick. Can actually make you sick. So that's a little bit about physical illness and thinking. Let me move on to a completely different subject. I think part of our issue is that we define success wrong in our heads. We got stinking thinking when it comes to what success is. Okay? I was going to make fun of millennials, but the problem is everybody has this weird idea about success these days. What is success? Oh, success is when I reach the pinnacle of... No. You need to redefine it. You define it for yourself. I have my definition of what success is. Okay? You've got to get your definition that's healthy. What I'm calling you to do is think about it. Someone who wants to lose weight, they're like, success is losing these 50 pounds that I've put on since I got married. Okay? That may be a success. But may I just say, break it down into smaller successes. Break it down into a 10-pound success. 10 pounds, and that's success. Maybe even going to the gym, that's a success. Okay? How you define success can be your downfall. You have to make it attainable. You have to make it something that you can actually attain, that you can go get. I got a question for you. What does God think success is? Is it attaining something? What is it? Is it using what you have? I tend to flow towards that river. Is it using what you have? So there's a process that we go through of change. And maybe you're in this process right now. If you are, you're in action. But before action comes, pre-contemplation comes. Like you're thinking about it. Are you with me? And then you're contemplating. That's the next step. You're contemplating, maybe I should change. Maybe I should, I don't know. Maybe I should. And then next step is preparation. You're like, okay, I'm going to change. I'm going to get a gym membership, or I'm going to go to the store and get more vegetables, or I'm going to get more sleep, or whatever. And then the next step, hopefully that's what you're in right now, is action. Reminds me of that song. I want some action. I want to live. Remember that song? It's an old song. But action does make you live. It lives, you live in a different way when you actually move into action on something that you want to change. And then, of course, we have maintenance. Maintenance. The most important thing. After you've decided, okay, I'm going to get 7.5 hours of sleep every single night, you have to maintain that. And that's very important. In order to maintain that, you have to think, what happens when the baby cries? What happens when I have to work early or I have to work late? What happens at those times? How do you overcome obstacles? Let's plan on obstacles being put in our path. Haven't you found that out yet in your life, that there are obstacles? All right. So before you start a plan in your life, let's plan to overcome the barriers. I always forget my gym clothes, so I can't go to the gym. Always have a spare bag of gym clothes and gym shoes in your trunk or in your car somewhere. So you always have two. So if you forget one, you have the other. Well, what if I forget the other? Then you need a mom. You need a mom. Okay. I work late, and sometimes I didn't have time to prepare a meal, or I had to go in early. No time to prepare a meal. Always have a bag of salad and some turkey. Okay? So there's two things. Life is more than turkey and salad, but in those times, I have no time. Okay? If you bag a salad, that takes about, opening a salad, that's 10. Pour it in a bowl, you got a 10, about 30 seconds right there. 40 seconds, now you got your dressing on it. And you got to get your turkey out, and you don't even have to cut it up. Just eat it out of your hand. That'll be faster. Less than a minute, you've prepared your meal. Always have it. I'm at work and I don't have an ice chest. Get an ice chest, take it with you to work. There are ways to overcome the obstacles. I get bored easy. I don't have any money. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to exercise. Okay, on YouTube, there's about 15 million different people that are doing exercises, including Total Life Pursuit. But look, it's on there you can get it anytime. And you don't have to get bored. You can do a different exercise every single day. Okay? And it doesn't cost anything. Now, knowing which one is good, which one is not good, that, does take some know-how. That's why I'm here. Give me a shout out. I'll help you. How are you going to deal with failures? I said, I'm not planning to fail. How are you going to deal if you do? It's so common when you're on a diet and it's like, okay, I'm on this diet. I've been so good for a month. It's a birthday party. I'm just going to have a piece of cake. You have a piece of cake and all of a sudden you're like, oh man, I blew my diet. I might as well eat the whole cake. This is not the way to deal with failure, okay? If the cake is a failure, if the cookies or whatever is a failure, how are you going to deal with it? What are you going to do? Write it down ahead of time. If I don't go to the gym for 3 days in a row, I am going to blank. I'm going to walk. I'm going to work out at home. I'm going to do one of the Grey's Anatomy workouts. What are you going to do? If I eat stuff that I shouldn't eat, sugary white stuff that causes all kinds of bad things to happen in my body, including gaining weight, what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to go to the gym an extra blank. I am going to go on an all vegetable diet for the next day. I'm just going to do veggies all day long. Whatever it is, just do something. Have a plan in place so you don't collapse. All right? One last thing I want to talk to you about, which are SMART goals. So how do you set goals? And what kind of goals should they be? SMART goals, it's been around for a long time. S-M-A-R-T, S, specific. What do you want to accomplish? How many do you want to accomplish? How much do you want to accomplish? If you're talking to somebody else, will they understand what you want to accomplish? M, measurable. That's somebody else that you told them what you wanted to accomplish. How much? I'm going to lose some weight. Well, that's good. What does that mean? 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 15 pounds? Don't go over that. That's set small goals up. Remember, we already talked about that. I'm going to lose 10 pounds. Now the stranger knows, hey, you weighed 160, now you weigh 150. You attained your goal. Measurable. A, attainable. Something that's reasonable, realistic, doable. I am going to climb Mount Everest in 6 months. Well, if you've never climbed any mountains, probably not a good idea to do that. You're going to have to train pretty rigorously to just get to base camp in Mount Everest, okay? So make it an attainable goal, something that you can get at. Relevant, R is relevant. Is it within my life mission? Well, that's a good one. Is it within my life mission? I saw this guy at the gym. He had arms, his biceps. They were just beautiful. They were just, I wasn't lusting over them, but I was lusting over them. I wanted them, and I'm like, man, I really would like to have arms like that, God. And I was, just talking with God. And the question that came back to me from God was, why? Well, that was a penetrating question because I knew the answer immediately. So people could look at my arms and go, wow, that guy's got great arms. You know what? That is not in my mission. That's not my life mission, for people to look at me and go, wow, what great arms Terry has. That's not it. That's not it at all. So that doesn't get to be one of my goals. Great arms, okay? That's not one of my goals. Make your goals relevant to your life mission. And then finally, T, time-bound. When will this be accomplished? I'm going to lose 10 pounds. Good. By when? Sometime between now and 2023. No, when is it going to be done? I'm going to lose 10 pounds in the next 2 months. That's what I'm doing. A little over a pound a week, that's what I'm going to do. So now you know when you hit your goal. Are you with me? I'm going to share 2 verses. Romans 6, there is no 16. 6, 17, and 18. This is out of the Message Paraphrase Bible. But thank God you started listening to a new master, one whose commands set you free to live openly in freedom. Galatians 5:1. Christ has set us free to live a free life. So take your stand. Never again let anyone put a harness of slavery on you. Listen, you are free people. You can think the way you want to think. Yeah, it's going to take some effort. It's going to take some strength. It's going to take a commitment. But you're nobody's slave. You are free to live free from the old whoever you were. Starting today, starting right now, you're the new whoever. Okay? You were the new whoever, but I'm just starting you all over again. You're the new whoever. The way you think can compel you to greatness, or the way you think can absolutely take you down to the pit. You get to choose. So think like a champion and get rid of any victim mentality. Okay? You have power, you have choice, you have the power to choose. Believe that you do. I hope and pray that you are successful, and I believe in you that you will be. This is Terry with Total Life Pursuit. Pillar number 4, thinking. Check. Well, at least check for you heard the teaching. Now go do it. We'll talk to you next time.